Carter's number, 15. It's going to hang up in the rafters, and that's the first number that they're retiring. Seeing as how it is the first number that they are retiring, I'm one to tell you, I believe it's an excellent choice. Reason being, Vince Carter was the individual that put the Toronto Raptors on the map. He most definitely did. Let me be the first one to tell you that, guys, that Toronto Raptors, that was my, I mean, from the time they came into the league, that was my team. There was two Canadian teams that came into the team at the exact same time, the Toronto Raptors and the Vancouver Grizzlies. But I was all about the Raptors. One, because they're kind of closer to where I lived. So, you know, that motivated me to want to go to games and stuff like that. It's 4 hours away from where I reside right now. So, you know, a road trip for a game was beautiful to me. Now, I'll be honest with you, when both of the teams came into the league, the thing that irritated me about both my North American teams was their uniforms. The only problem was I disliked the Vancouver Grizzlies uniform that much more than I disliked Toronto Raptors uniform. I was just a firm believer that, yo, if you're an NBA organization, we got to spend a little bit more money in making a team look good. They look like a high school team. They look like an NBA team wearing high school uniforms, in my personal opinion. You know, like you had the lines down the front with that big Raptor. I just did not like it. I thought, like I said, I just thought the uniform made them look very B average. Now, when Vince Carter came into the league, and then he started with his all flying and stuff like that, where the Raptors started to get televised a lot more, he was a driving force of changing those ridiculous uniforms. So, that was one of the main reasons. No, that was one of the reasons why I like Vince Carter. Now, when the Toronto Raptors came into the league, they had Damian Stoudemire. That was their first round draft pick. Isaiah Thomas was the man. So, the Raptors, they were an okay team, but they were just a team. They were just an expansion team. There was nothing great to them. They had they had one big name, Damian Stoudemire, with a bunch of role players around him. Now, when the Toronto Raptors drafted Antoine Jameson, and I can't remember what the team was that drafted Vince Carter, and those two teams traded the draft picks, I was one of the first people that came up here because, you know, I knew a little bit more about Antoine Jameson than I did about Vince Carter. Vince Carter in college, he was a high flyer and stuff like that, but Antoine Jameson had the all-around game. So I wasn't exactly 100% happy when Toronto made that trade for Antoine Jameson for Vince Carter. I wasn't a happy individual with that. But let me tell you something. After seeing everything that Vince Carter had to add, believe it or not, I was very, very happy. I started to compare him, you know, a younger version of me. I was comparing him to Michael Jordan. Unfair comparison, I totally agree. But like I said, I was young, ignorant, didn't know no better. But Vince Carter was the man that put the Toronto Raptors on the map. Vince Carter was the individual that made the Toronto Raptors must-watch TV. Now, mind you, as much as I love Vince Carter, my favorite player on that team was Tracy McGrady. That's a different story for a different day. Vince Carter was the individual that went to the slam dunk contest. Once again, he put the Raptors on the map. So all that to say, I believe the Toronto Raptors made an amazing decision of retiring his number and making sure that that was the first number that got retired. Why? Because he was the first individual that actually put the Toronto Raptors on the map in the NBA. Before Vince Carter, they were just known as an expansion team. With Vince Carter, they were must-watch TV. And the reason why I say they were must-watch TV, because I remember staying up one night because they were playing out west. They were playing against the Lakers. I'll never forget it. I stayed up to watch that game. And back then, because of the way the Raptors were playing, that's when they had Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, Charles Oakley. They had the big boy that used to play for Atlanta, Kevin Willis. We had a nice little scrappy squad that was exciting to watch. And they were playing carefree basketball. So yeah. Total Tech. You better believe I love my Raptors, baby. I mean, hey, listen. I had to wait for God knows how long before we finally had a team out there, out in North America, that we could call our own. So you're absolutely correct. As soon as I found out we were getting one 4 hours from where I lived, I jumped on all that. Tyler, thank you. My point being, I believe that was the wisest choice that Toronto could have made by retiring Vince Carter's number. And I'm going to let you guys know something right now. The next number that Toronto is going to retire is going to be number 7, Kyle Lowry. What's up today, man? Nothing much. How you doing, Tyler? Up here talking about the retirement of Vince Carter's number 15 from Ontario. So you got to appreciate this. You believe that that Toronto did the best thing, right? Retiring, like Vince Carter's number is the first number that they're retiring. I think it's the wisest choice that they could have made. Why? Because he was the man that put the Toronto Raptors on the map. Throughout the rest of the league, that is. Because of the mere fact of the matter that Kyle Lowry came here, stayed as long as he did, and won a championship here, that's the next number that's going to be retired. Unfortunately, because of the simple fact of the matter that DeMar DeRozan was unable to really finish the deal here. Because really and truly, if he was able to, won a championship in Toronto, I'm from Montreal, baby. I'm 4 hours away from you. Yes, sir. So I do my road trips to come and check out those Raptor games. Indeed. What part of Ontario are you from, Tyler? Yeah. Another topic of conversation that I wanted to cover today was Semenko. No, I'm not. I'm not very familiar with those parts. Southern, okay. CT, what's up? Oh, close to Lake Erie. Okay, I got you. I've never been out that far. There was another specific topic of conversation that I saw where allegedly, apparently, the Miami Heat are going to be giving Dwayne Wade a statue. I don't doubt that for a minute, Tyler. I don't doubt that for a minute. The Miami Heat are going to be building a statue for Dwayne Wade. And allegedly, apparently, there's a lot of LeBron James fans that aren't happy with this. So I want to have this conversation, not with LeBron James, but with his fans. How in the world could you not... Why would you be unhappy with that simple fact of the matter? That Miami is building a statue for Dwayne Wade. Do you guys really believe that LeBron James should have a statue in Miami? And if you do, please tell me why. I'm very, very curious. You need to understand one thing. Dwayne Wade won a championship before LeBron James. A lot of people fail to remember that fact of the matter, but he won the championship before LeBron James. He won it with Alonzo Mourning. Number 2, Dwayne Wade didn't have to leave. Yes, Mike, yes, he does have a statue, sir. He does. Most definitely. Dwayne Wade doesn't have to leave Miami to go join LeBron James in Cleveland. LeBron James had to leave Cleveland to join Dwayne Wade in Miami. As far as I understand, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they have a boulevard named after Dwayne Wade. Out there in Miami, out in South Beach. The man spent the majority of his career in one organization and won 3 championships in that organization. Let me be very, very clear. The only organization that owes LeBron James a statue is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Why? That's where he's from. That's the team that drafted him. And he won the very first championship ever for Cleveland. So yes, if there's any team that deserves a statue or he deserves to have a statue in front of, it should be Cleveland. That's it. Not LA. Not LA. With the amount of stars that played there before him, and did a hell of a lot more with that organization than he's ever done in LA. I understand you guys want to recognize this individual as the greatest player ever. To each his own. You're entitled to your opinion. But whenever you guys are talking about stuff such as legacy, such as statues and stuff like that, let's start to maybe try to approach it with a little bit of common sense. Understand one thing. Miami, LeBron James could not even wear the number 23 in Miami. Why do you think that was? Because Pat Riley retired that number before he even got there. Now, I've seen organizations actually take jerseys out of retirement for a star player. Ask yourself one question. Why wasn't that done for LeBron James? Welcome back. Jane, welcome back. Welcome back. Answer that question. Why if your proclaimed king is as great as everybody says he is, why was the Miami Heat organization not willing to unretire the number 23 so LeBron James could wear it? Hi, Jane. Please tell me. Like I told you before, man, I mean, the media, they could brainwash us, the viewers. But the people that are actually in that circle, the people that are actually in the NBA circle, that play in the NBA, that are around it every single day, they know. They know. As good as he is as great as he's not. Now, don't get me wrong. In terms of marketing, in terms of trying to sell the game and stuff like that, especially to the younger generation, yeah, I have to, I got to give him credit. And believe it or not, this season I'm going to try my best to step back from the hater rate of LeBron James. I am actually going to try and take a step back from it. Why? Because when he came into the league, he was a cat that I did rock with. He was a cat that I did like. I was a lot younger. I don't think I was as intelligent back then as I am now. But the bottom line is, he was an individual that I enjoyed coming into the league. And I cheered for him a hell of a lot when he was in Cleveland going through the bumps and bruises and stuff like that. Like I tell you guys, I continue to cheer for LeBron James up until a point in time where you guys start to push an agenda trying to compare him to the greats, instead of allowing him to be great in his own skin, in his own era. You want to take him out of this era and compare him to greats of previous eras that played before him. And that's when I start to go south with this whole thing. That's when I start to have a little bit of distaste and dislike for your proclaimed king. And then when you watch as it went on how they tried to erase the legacy of a Kobe Bryant just to make sure that this individual has a place on the podium, well, you know, guys like myself, it's gonna generate a bad taste in our mouth, no matter how you slice it. So Miami, Pat Riley, I have a lot of respect for your organization. I really do. And for an individual such as myself that grew up in the later part of the 80s and through the 90s watching the NBA, you have to appreciate a general manager like a Pat Riley because he's old school. He's still one of those individuals that has a certain amount of respect for this game. Like I said, the mere fact of the matter that Michael Jordan didn't play one game for the Miami Heat, but yet still, Pat Riley took it upon himself to retire that number. What does that tell you about the respect he has for the game? And remember, Michael Jordan spent a good part of his career beating Pat Riley teams. But it's within all those beatings that Pat Riley generated an awesome amount of respect. In Pat Riley's eyes, he believes that the number 23 should be retired throughout the entire league. Now, what does that tell you? That right there should debunk the entire GOAT argument, don't you think? You see, but you won't hear mainstream media talking about that or pushing that particular agenda because that takes away from what they're trying to push, the greatness that they're trying to push. In my humble opinion, that is. I'm an individual, I firmly believe. A man that does not have to say anything at all. He let his play on the court speak for it, and now he's letting the rest of us on the streets talk about his greatness. Versus a guy that tries to go out there and convince people every day that he's great. And like I said, this is just in my humble opinion. But when you have a general manager of an organization that tells you that the number 23 needs to be retired throughout the entire league, and you haven't heard one person come on and rebuttal that, the proof is in the pudding, baby. The proof is in the pudding. With that being said, I want you guys to have yourself a wonderful day on this Tuesday. Beautiful day out here. Enjoy it to the fullest. Share, like, and subscribe. Help this channel grow. With all that being said, Double the Innocence with your boy E-Dub is out. Have a blessed day, people.